Welcome to the Beer Frontier. My name is Gage.
And I'm Robert, and as ever, we're here for the beer. This week, we're going to be looking at strong ale.
We'll go and visit Ben, the home brewer.
We'll taste a couple of local strong ales.
We'll go and see what Enzo is cooking.
We've got an imported strong ale to try. So Gage, strong ale, how is it different from amber ale, pale ale, and all the other various sorts of ales?
It's stronger. Yep, typically 8% alcohol. I always think that Duval invented it, and that Duval's the beer we'll taste later. So low hop regime, so low hop aroma, low hop bitterness, and low hop taste. So malt driven. Often sort of medium-bodied, not full-bodied, a bit deceptive because of the higher alcohol. You would expect it to be full-bodied with that higher in alcohol. So we're looking at malt flavours and complexity here. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're very highly carbonated, which is a bit of a surprise. Mm-hmm. They can really almost foam out if not handled properly. But interesting beers. But although Duval effectively established a style, there's a couple of Australian ones which we'll look at, which have got some added things as well. So we'll see how we go.
Yeah, okay. Now, we're coming to the end of our season now, and in 30 episodes, we have tasted in the region of 40 beers, maybe a few more. So maybe we should just look back a bit and see what we thought of some things.
Okay,
yeah.
So what was the best Australian big company beer you had?
Oh, best Australian. That would have to be Tooheys Old for my money, I think.
Yeah.
It's actually an ale. Most of them are just, fizzy lagers and stuff like that. It's got a body and taste.
Bit of a link to the past too. Well, Cascade Stout for me, because it was an imperial stout, not a dry stout. It had layer upon layer of flavour. I was really impressed with that beer from the big two. And the best microbrewery, Australian microbrewery.
Oh, my Australian microbrewery. Well, to me, that would have to be the Three Ravens Bock. I thought that was a really classy drink, that one.
Yeah. That Three Ravens Bock was textbook, what it was supposed to be. So my favourite would be that Bridge Road Bling IPA, because once again, that was textbook. That was exactly according to the specifications what an IPA should be like. Most boring beer or the least interesting one?
Oh, least interesting. I could pick any number of the lagers we tasted because I don't know if it's just the ones we went for, but they're pretty ordinary, really. Yeah. Ordinary, boring beers, really.
Ordinary, boring beers, yeah. Yeah, the one I thought was most pointless was that one from Tasmania, 2 metre tall, Hue and Dark Ale. I just thought it would have been much better if they hadn't added apple juice to the beer.
Yeah, it was pretty naff, that one.
Well,
that's for sure.
Just trying to find a point of difference. I'm sort of sympathetic to it, but gee, it was disappointing. So, which beer did you like the most?
That was Samuel Smith's India Ale for me. That was a really classy brew, I thought.
That is good, yeah. I reckon the Japanese espresso stouts, which was an imperial stout with coffee beans, Hitachino, that completely blew me away because everything was so good about it. The flavours were just amazing. It was just so classy. That was an absolutely wonderful beer.
Yeah, and an honourable mention too to the Polish porter we had, the Okocim.
Hi, I'm the guy behind the camera. Normally they keep me in a box, but today I'm busting out and I'm having my say, because it's time for my pick of the season, and it's this, Hargraves Hill ESB. It's a beautiful fruity ale, it tastes amazing, it's got these wonderful smells. You've smelled nothing like this beer, so you've got to give it a try. As Gage says, it's packed full of layers of flavour and complexity. I don't really understand that, but I know I like this, and I understand that it tastes great. If you normally drink those sort of watery, easy to chug lagers, this does have a lot more flavour. It's pretty full on comparatively, but give it a try. If you have 2 or 3, I guarantee you'll never turn back from it, and these wonderful full flavour beers. So don't be scared of them. Give them a shot. I gave it a shot. Now I'm a convert, and you will be too.
It was just so classy. That was an absolutely wonderful beer.
Yeah, and an honourable mention too to the Polish porter we had, the Okachim.
Ah, yeah, the Baltic Porter, the higher alcohol one too, and an honourable mention to the Timothy Taylor Landlord too.
Yes.
Yeah, we could keep going, but let's not. Let's go on to the rest of the show.
Okay, well now let's go and see what Ben the home brewer is brewing for us.
Hi guys, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about one of the more exciting parts of home brewing, and that's the kegging system. Now, if you've ever thought about moving into kegging, or if you've ever heard about it, my advice is get into it as soon as you can. It's probably one of the first things I did once I started doing partial grain brewing. Put my money and stepped up into kegging systems, did away with bottling. Wow, what a difference. It improves your life. I'll show you why. Basically, what are we dealing with? These are the babies that you want to be getting hold of. They're called Cornelius kegs. Basically, they are post-mix drink kegs. Essentially, most of them are imported from America. No longer used there. And really, quite simply, they're just a pressured steel vessel. And this is a nice dirty one. Inside you've got a rod that goes to the bottom which draws out all the beer, and the other side is just a short entry there for carbon dioxide. So you can get as many or little of these as you like. They probably cost you about 50 bucks a pop or something like that, maybe a bit more. But once you've moved into this, you'll never turn back. What else do you need? Well, you get disconnects for them, these little babies. They pop on and off the ends. These connect you to your CO2, and of course the other end, which will be your beer gun. Really quite simple. The other thing you need is trusty carbon dioxide. Now many people a little bit scared of using carbon dioxide. Don't be. It's really quite simple. We've got a cylinder here. We've got a gauge here, basically regulator we call it, and that makes sure that the correct pressure is going to be served to these little kegs. All we need to do is, once our beer has finished lagering for a couple of weeks, we simply need to get a hose, rack it into one of these, make sure that we put some CO2 in it before we rack it, and then seal it off. After that, we would then get the CO2 hose. Sorry, I've already disconnected it. We'd get the CO2 hose, pop it on there, and then burp some into the keg whilst purging it out to ensure that we fill the headspace with CO2. That means we've got rid of all the oxygen. That means that our beer is not going to go stale. After that, we basically need to carbonate our beer. So there's two ways of doing it. You can pressure carbonate it, or you can do it under low pressure for a longer period of time. This thing here will let us know. Don't be scared of it. Basically, you can set it to two pressures. You've got about 300 to 400 kPa, and that'll be what I do high pressure. So if you turn it onto that, connect it to your keg, pressure it up, kick it around the floor, about 10-15 minutes time, your beer's up to pressure. If you don't want to do the kicking around the floor thing, only put it on about a quarter of that, pressurize it up, put it in the fridge, couple of days, your beer will be perfectly carbonated. It's as simple as that. Okay, so let's just talk about the actual gas for a few seconds. You've got a couple of options there as well. Basically, you can actually buy these outright now, and they work on a swap and go system, just like you would with your regular gas for a barbecue. That's one way to go. A little bit pricey. You're going to spend a few $100s actually buying the thing outright. Your alternative is to go to a local gas supplier, and you can actually rent these out. So you just pay a monthly fee, and they always keep you filled up with gas. So when you run out, they just change it over. That's pretty simple. One other thing I should probably mention as well, when you're ready to gas your beer up, make sure that your beer is ice cold. The colder the better. Cooler beer will actually absorb much more oxygen, much more CO2, sorry, much more quickly. So get that as chilled as you possibly can. So there we have it, folks. This is the beginning of our dream setup. This is only a couple of kegs, but of course there's nothing stopping you from getting bigger fridges, chest freezers, and well, the world is your oyster. Really simple to serve. This is a beer gun here. This simply attaches to the other outlet of the keg. Just incidentally, when I was doing the bottling the other day, it's a very similar tool that I use for actually bottling my beers now. I simply connect the tool up to the outlet of the corny there, and my bottling gun is actually longer with a CO2 nozzle in there as well. So simply CO2 the bottle and then fill with beer that way. Just a much easier way of bottling your beer. In this case though, I just simply want to put beer out of there into my glass. How easy is that? Couldn't really be simpler, could it? And you're just serving that under very, very low pressure from the CO2. So you can use beer guns, or if you want to look really, really smart, you can have your taps on the outside there and pour yourself a wonderful, creamy, heady beer. How does that look? That's a pail that I made about a month ago, looking absolutely beautiful. So there we have it, kegging systems. Simple, easy, efficient, fun. Once you go there, you'll never turn back. Cheers, guys.